The first scene was something.
All right. Hey, everybody. I'm Nima.
Hey, I'm Remy.
Thank you guys for joining us for
Thank you very
episode
much.
three of
Tres. Leftovers, Nima.
Leftovers. Dude,
I know it was kind of hard after this episode to realize what we were looking at, but it
so
was still
true.
leftovers.
But I still also have, for some reason, Left 4 Dead on my mind. So I was going to say
Left 4 Dead, like the game?
like the game.
That was such a good game. Anyways, oi,
Oi.
as they say
Cheers.
in Australia. Cheers, mate.
I got to open up my my beer. I'm drinking an IPA, and I imagine I'm going to hate it, but, it is what it is.
I'm drinking a Leffe, however you say that.
I don't know what that is.
Leffe. I don't know. Oh shit, I'm spilling my beer everywhere.
Well, cheers.
Cheers. Thanks for coming, guys.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Oh, God, this beer is awful.
Thank you
Thanks.
for commenting again and again. We got Jill and Targarinka, who are recurring listeners, viewers on here. So we'd like to personally thank you very much.
Yeah, and
Your
everybody
comments
else.
are always very appreciated. Very
and
funny, too.
For anybody who's new, we would absolutely appreciate your comment, your feedback. Likes and subscribes mean a lot, but they're not required. But we would absolutely appreciate your
Absolutely.
feedback. I'm gonna do my best to finish this awful beer tonight.
Is it that bad?
I really don't like IPAs, but I keep buying
Too
them.
strong of an IPA?
I just don't like IPAs in general.
And give me 1 second.
Yeah, that's fine.
I want to tell him to just tone it down a bit.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we're just gonna wait for Remy to get the attention of his family and his friends. Aww.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit quieter.
Awesome. Great job, Remy. Anyways.
I'm on board. So, generally speaking, in the last few shows that we've done, I've talked about filler episodes. This is a definition of a filler episode.
Gosh.
I was begging
not-
and hoping
they-
for it to build
I-
up to something. It didn't. It just...
Yeah. It was just like this dude in the desert.
Yeah, it was Kevin Sr. just in the desert walking around. Like, it was gorgeous. A lot of amazing cinematography, amazing sound design, but holy shit, completely waste as far as the story goes. And, like,
I feel like
character
it was a waste of an hour of everyone's time, but maybe there was like some hidden secrets in there.
I mean, closer to the end of it, I picked up what they were trying to do, but you didn't need to waste a whole episode on that. And even what they were
Right.
trying to do, they didn't do it well.
And some of these scenes were like they're dragging on for like a minute or two. It's like, okay, we get it.
I can't do it. I can't fucking
Is
do
it
it.
that bad?
So bad.
What is it again? Can you put it on the camera?
Yeah, I'll put it on the camera so I can get sued. Here you go. It is called the Hop Cooler Citrus IPA.
Sounds fancy.
It's really bad. I mean, to each their own, I guess. But wow, it's really bad.
Hey, if it's bad, it's bad, man.
So I kind of picked up what they were trying to do, especially that whole speech at the very end of it was what the whole episode was about. So my question is, why waste an hour? Literally waste an hour just on that one speech. Even that one speech didn't land. It didn't land as well as it should have.
It really didn't. It didn't have an impact with a recurring leftovers theme. That like it didn't do anything for me. Nothing. I was like, when is this episode going to be over? And I hope the last sentence of Kevin's mouth is something that makes you be like, oh, but it wasn't.
Even that was a letdown. Completely agree.
Completely.
Like she was telling the story as you're supposed to know as a viewer, or you're like, oh, this is the story of Kevin Sr.
Yeah.
He's wasted his life looking for a purpose, looking for a message that he thinks is supposed to be just unique for him, and it's not. It's just a regular, good old, like, everyday message that he makes unique to himself.
I mean, if
But
anything, the
fucking
only...
wasted.
I know. It's okay. Let's not be mad. Smile, happiness. Take a breath. Anyways, the only cool part of this episode was, as far as like plot development, was when you realize that, he gets stung by the snake, hangs in the cross, gets picked up, and then gets in a coma for a few weeks, wakes up, goes outside, gets shot with a dart, and that's the same ladies that drowned the cop Kevin from
Correct.
Australia. Last episode.
Yeah, the end of last episode.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, the end of the last episode was not that good either.
No,
So
it was not.
They
What are they
continued-
doing? What are they doing?
Dude, even if there's a grand scheme, which I'm sure it is, and the show's I'm sure going to pay off amazingly well.
Yeah, I hope so.
Nobody can say that this episode wasn't wasted. Like, it's...
I know. Well,
You already
again,
saw what happened at the end
maybe
of
we're
it.
not that smart to figure that out. Just saying.
No,
there
we're-
might have been some like hidden secrets in there.
No, we're definitely not that smart. I agree, but I think we're smart enough.
Cheers
be
to
able
that.
Cheers. I'm gonna this empty beer bottle. But we're smart enough to be able to pick shit up, and I mean, we're gonna get hate in the comments maybe, but this just
Totally.
it wasn't a good episode, like in
It wasn't.
any shape or form. Like
What was,
gorgeous
what's the
cinematography.
purpose for the show's creator to have this episode about Kevin's dad the whole time?
I mean, he's done that in the last few seasons. There's been episodes
Sure.
where it branches off and there's the story of just one character, not
Yeah,
one
but
of the
I
mains.
still feel that when that's happened in the past, it was still important to the storyline.
agree.
This doesn't really have much. I feel like.
Correct, because here's the thing. If I can ask you, Remy, what new thing did you learn in this episode that you hadn't learned in the last one?
That Kevin Jr. was, we learned about his childhood with his mom passing and him, just recording his dad and stuff.
Right.
But
Which was the
nothing-
opening of this episode, which was
Yeah.
great. The opening was awesome, but it just didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, it didn't go anywhere. But we learned that he's started learning. Senior started hearing the voices right after the departure.
Correct.
So that's kind of relevant. And the part when he describes his acid trip to Christopher Sunday.
Yeah, Chris Sunday.
He doesn't. Does he lie to him? Like, because obviously in that trip when he's in that hotel room with the Aboriginal people, he talks to Kevin Jr., his son, while Kevin Jr. is like in this death trip in the hotel where he's supposed to like kill Patty down the well, and he only knows that because his dad told him to.
Correct. I got that feeling too. I got the feeling that maybe he was lying. But again, that was a 5-minute conversation at least? Completely
Yeah.
wasted because you're just like, what?
I know.
And I don't. The episode had some comedic feeling to it. Even the jokes didn't feel like they landed to me. Like when he was getting thrown out of the
Yeah.
ambulance or landing
Yeah.
on Chris Sunday. Sorry, spoilers if you haven't watched it. Chris Sunday dies. But it wasn't good.
It wasn't good.
Especially.
The
Go ahead.
part, the part with the guy that pours gasoline on himself in the car.
Yeah, the suicide of.
That was like decent, but again, like, what was the point of it?
I don't
feel
know.
like it's like you watching this show. It's like one episode, you're like, oh my gosh, it's so smart. It's done so well. I feel like kind of dumb because I don't get it completely. But that's what the fun part of it is watching a show like this. It's like genius some part, and then this episode was just like, what? Why? What is this? Why is this relevant to the story or whatever?
I completely agree. Like, God, like the guy who poured gasoline on himself and burned himself and the car too. He, right before he did it, he asked the question, "Would you kill a kid
Right.
to cure cancer?"
So he was probably trying to be a doctor or something.
Maybe,
And,
but
and then they said like, okay, then no, you can't be a doctor because you wouldn't sacrifice the baby for cancer cure. What was I don't get it, man. Maybe we're missing something. There's a lot of religious stuff, I feel like.
yeah, but I'm even as an
we-
atheist, I'm on board with the religious stuff. If there's a payoff,
Sure.
there was no payoff in it.
Yeah. And then, that page that he rips out of the Bible that Matt sent him.
Right?
Matt is the only, other character that keeps coming back on the show that we saw today.
Right.
And
Because Kevin Jr. wasn't in it at all.
why did he send... Okay, I want to know... This is one thing I want to know is... in season 1, they touch up on how Matt and Kevin Sr. know each other, and there's that jar of money in the yard, in Kevin Jr.'s yard.
Vaguely, I remember that, but go ahead.
So there's like some kind. They have something going on together, and then nothing in season 2, and then season 3, they're in touch. He sent him that Bible, so they're onto something together.
And send him the money.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, hopefully we'll learn about what their past stories are, so we can get some better idea.
I agree. Like in the trailer for this season, they were talking about it. Even Kevin Sr. was in it. They were talking about the idea of a flood. Like that could be the thing in this episode. Is this great flood coming back? Like, is this episode supposed to build tension for that flood? Because it did not.
Felt nothing.
Right? Like I'm just like, all right, next episode better be good because this one didn't do anything.
Nothing at all. Yeah, I mean, I even hope they don't even come back to that side of the world, but they're gonna have to because maybe they're just setting it up for because we know that Nora and Kevin are coming to Australia now.
Right. They're definitely gonna come back. Like
Yeah,
even
so maybe that episode was like not really a filler, but more like a let's set it up for them when they actually get to Australia to deal with all that.
it's possible, but man, it's 2017. You're dealing with like millennials that don't need an hour of setup. Just give them like 2 seconds of like
I know.
just pure information, and you
I
can
know
move on to
you're
what you want
upset.
to do.
It's the first time you're upset about this show.
It's the first time it's been bad. It's like I've genuinely loved this show because like I can sit with a whole season and not get it, and then be like, oh, I get it now.
Right. Well,
But-
maybe we'll watch this again like in the future and be like, oh man, we
But
totally
even
missed out on
then,
that.
like season 2 was really confusing at first, but it was still good episodes
Yeah.
each along the
Back
line.
to back, yeah, sure. This one was
This-
just off, weird, or maybe we just don't get it.
Maybe we just don't get it. But you know, my rating from 0 to 10 is just crap. This episode wasn't good.
Yeah, that was a 1 or 2 for me.
Like everything was on point. Like acting was on point, and cinematography, music, sound, story
Yeah.
wasn't. Just
Yeah,
story wasn't
it
good.
looked great. It sounded great. Sound design was awesome. There are some cool scenes with like him dancing, for example, in the beginning. You're like, oh, this is gonna be interesting, and then just the
Right.
episode keeps getting like longer and longer, and you're like, oh, when is this over?
The longest 58 minutes of my life, man.
Do you feel like your time has been wasted, Nima?
No, because this is like work, right? So we do this to do the next one, so it's
Yeah,
fine.
we wouldn't do this if we weren't watching something we liked.
That's true. That is absolutely true. But at the same time, this is the first one we've done in what is it, 2-3 months, where we're just like that was a bad episode.
I mean, why are there? We didn't really have such a bad episode ever. We have a few people watching us.
we
Thanks,
never
guys,
have.
for tuning in.
Yes.
Hopefully, we don't bore you to death. We did not like this episode.
Yeah, if this is your first time watching us, we're sorry. We usually genuinely we like generally something about the episodes that we watch. This is the first time where we're both
we're
like
just talking
flabbergasted,
crap right now.
just talking shit. But
Let us know what you think. Maybe we missed some important things, and I wouldn't put it past us. But
that is absolutely true. But in the meantime, since this episode was so boring to me, my mind was running, and I have a couple of different theories. And did I write them down? Okay.
more. I mean, we can touch up on the theories we had last week because they were good.
What theories did we have last week?
The
Tell me
one that the government might be behind the departures on 7
Right.
years ago. That's it.
So I think that is actually leaning towards being more than just a theory, especially with the hints that were dropped last episode with
Yeah.
a certain group of people creating a machine so it can be done.
And then Nora having, is not. She doesn't do well with machines nowadays. So maybe something is like getting ready to do this again because it's getting closer to the 7 years mark, which is very religious. Some people, and if it's a conspiracy, the people in charge of the conspiracy are like gonna make it happen on the same day because it's very religious, so that they can hide themselves. I don't know.
Did just you saying that reminded me about how good the last episode was and how
So good.
pissed off I am
Ah.
that this episode didn't continue that.
I'm
Just tell me
so
more about
let down. So maybe the next one's gonna be amazing. Like maybe it's like an on-purpose roller coaster thing. Like okay, this sucks. So our expectations are super low for next week, and it's gonna be a badass episode.
You could be absolutely right. But so here's the thing. My theory is, and this goes along the lines of what this guy considers the idea of an afterlife. He's done this in his previous shows. Is what if the 3% that left are actually the 3% that stayed, and the 97% that technically stayed, these guys have all departed already, and they're sitting in either afterlife or they're sitting in purgatory, or they're just waiting.
Perhaps, because you think like if the rapture really happened, it'd be like a lot more people than what the 3% or whatever.
Yeah, and the 3% is random enough that it doesn't make sense.
Is it 3% or is it more than that?
I think they said 3%, 2 or 3%.
Yeah,
Something
that's
like
really
that.
not that many.
No, and they make that point in the first episode of the show is that when you think about it, this is not that many people at all.
Right.
Like, in generally speaking, most people don't know somebody who's departed. They made those kind of points. But, like, that's the good parts of the show. Why would you waste an hour with this crazy dude in Australia and don't even do anything with it? Whatever. I'm going to...
I know. Just keep going. This is fun. We haven't lost any viewers right now. Thanks for sticking around again, guys.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
This is awkward.
But I like the idea, and they dropped hints in this episode. So I think there was good groundwork for the script that, like, the idea of purpose kept coming up. Different people's purpose, people looking for their own purpose. Like, that's a great theme for this whole show. But again, completely wasted when you don't do any kind of payoff with it.
Yeah, so now that you say, like, you know...
Like, the old lady doesn't know his name's Kevin. Like, that's a great bombshell to drop in this episode. They didn't.
Yeah.
Sorry,
you know
go ahead.
how, you know how, gosh, sorry. Brain fart.
It's all right.
He's very determined. It's like, yeah, determination is another theme in that episode, sure, but when we watched, you know, season 1, season 2, and this one, and we keep being told by a character or himself that Kevin Sr., we really believe it when he says, I heard voices.
Right.
And now I'm listening to them, and it's like, yeah, sure, okay, cool, this is a show, you know, why not? Well, I'm going to go along with it. I know that you're not lying. You really believe that you are hearing the voices. And
So
then
loud.
you started listening. I know.
It's okay. Keep going.
What was I saying?
You were saying you hear voices and you're on board and you know,
Right. So we both are like, okay, cool. We're on board with that. And so now he's in Australia because he's followed the voices and he's doing all this crap following the voices. So it's like, maybe they just did it poorly that we think this is boring because we're like, okay, now he's just kind of a crazy person. But if we think back of us, the viewers, believing in this character, like, okay, maybe he's onto something. Maybe he's still onto something. But the episode maybe was crafted so poorly that it lost us.
No, I agree with that. I think you hit the nail right on the head. Like, this character, as crazy as it is, in the last couple seasons, there's always been this payoff where you're like, he's been right. You know, he's so crazy, but he's right. Now it's just like, all right, what are you doing?
No, it's like I'm more interested in the other characters' developments.
So interested.
Don't really care about this
Nora,
guy. But
Kevin, like, I want to know about them.
Again, if the show producers are that smart, as you keep telling me for the past year or two, maybe that's all on purpose. Maybe this is designed this way.
I don't know, man. You could be right, but this episode has made me think that maybe they are not that smart.
Well, maybe, you know, because they probably sent a crew. Maybe they sent a different crew to Australia to shoot
It's possible, right?
And maybe they didn't do a good job at capturing things, or I don't know.
That happens.
Actually, that makes no sense because the script itself was kind of crap.
Right, but I mean, if your theory or the possibility of there being a second crew, which happens all the time, there's second, third, fourth crews making things at the same time to speed things up.
Like Sense8.
Like Sense8, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe that's the thing. Maybe the person that was leading this episode just wasn't able to bring that special touch to make the script that much better.
Yes, but even if you were to like scratch the video aspect of it and the sound design of it, and you just like read the script and the conversations that they're having, maybe it was not following it good enough. Maybe it wasn't good itself.
Right. I think that's definitely it.
Because I mean, if you like, the conversations were not that good. You know, I missed one spot of the conversation. Is the beginning of the conversation that he has with Christopher Sunday.
Right.
I missed that one spot, but again, like, I don't think I missed much.
Right? Did you have an urge to go back to listen to it? I didn't. I was like,
no, it was
fine.
the beginning when he talks about his acid trip that lasted 2 weeks. The one after which the chicken was like pecking on the tape, and now the tape is like the new thing that he needs to listen to over and over again to like get some kind of sign of what he's supposed to do next.
The tape's the best part of the whole episode, by the way.
I wonder if the voices told him to, like, you know, go down, you know, the song line, which is pretty cool, by the way.
Right. Sorry, you just went robotic for a second.
The song lines that each... we lost someone.
It's all right. So, no, I think those things are really cool. The tape and the audio that you hear every time the tape is being played was my favorite part of the whole episode. It made it's drama. It's something I'm intrigued in. But then, like, nope, let's go back to this whole, you know, walking in the desert kind of thing.
But, you know, it was cool because, like, the tape at the beginning, you're like, oh, he's probably listening to it that has, you know, for some nostalgia, you know, like, it's his son, you know. But then you learn that he actually is listening to it because Tony the rooster pecked on it, or the chicken, my bad.
Tony the rooster.
Tony the tag.
I remember, like, prepping for this episode, I was downloading the promotional pictures from the HBO Media Relations website. And I was like, you know what? Just so I can be more prepared, I'm going to read the little summary that they put in advance to get people ready for the episode.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing is just about, Kevin's
I know.
dad walking through the desert.
Before
And I'm
watching,
just
I was like, oh, this is only going to be about Kevin Sr.
Right.
Like, wow. Hey, this picture that you had up there, is it like, that's from the set, a picture from the set?
Right, that's a picture from the set.
Cool.
One of
I like
them.
it.
I mean, they're all from the set, but the one that you're pointing out is the first one that you actually see the crew in the picture
Yeah,
as well.
there's a crew member in there.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
All right. I know that's a really quick one, but do you want to do we have more to say, Remy?
I'm trying to think what else happened that kind of could spark some other things, but oh, you know how last episode, the 4 women drowned the Kevin Australian
Right.
cop mate,
Right.
and how was she? I mean, she finds Kevin Sr. with a piece of paper. She reads it. She gets all crazy, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I gotta find the closest cop, Kevin."
Right.
How does she rally her 3-4 friends to go along with her and drown a guy?
Well, it's been 3 weeks.
How
Roughly.
do you convince someone to do that? Maybe they're all religion,
Well, I mean that's a right question, but I'm on board with that because you can say it's 3 weeks, a lot could have happened, and it's
Why does she
interesting.
have her picture in the freezer?
Yeah, that I don't know. Is that a thing? Maybe that's just something you and I don't know. Do you preserve
Maybe
things?
it's something that we don't know, but maybe they just made it for the joke, which was the funniest part of the show, of this episode. I mean,
It's
What
there
was
was
it?
a movie or a show that the girl to stop herself from spending money would freeze her credit cards in the freezer. So I was like, oh, okay. I guess that's some people do freezing things in the freezer, but I don't know, man.
I don't know, man.
But like that's the thing. Ugh, it's so. You have what happened in the end of episode 2,
Yeah,
and what's happening in this episode.
I
you
didn't
could've-
like the end of it at all.
No, I
Episode
didn't
2.
either. But you could have actually made it pay off in this episode by, we're the
Building
end
up
of-
that thing better.
Right, and like how the Australian lady's talking about how she's looking for a Kevin, which is something I didn't really put 2 and 2 together in the last episode, but in this episode, Kevin Sr. was a police chief, and
Right.
Kevin Sr. thinks the book is about him. Make
Yeah.
that the big payoff of this episode. This lady finding out this
Yeah.
could be him, but nope.
Yeah. I mean, she doesn't know, but again, maybe that's what the missed. I'm gonna say the missed cliffhanger is about. Like the end where
The
it's like,
missed
well,
cliffhanger. I love that.
it's a missed cliffhanger.
It's
Actually, it's more
100%
like the
true.
opposite of a cliffhanger. It's like a mountain to climb at this point. But you know how? So Kevin Sr. hasn't told her yet that he's a cop named Kevin.
Correct.
So maybe he's gonna explain that later. Maybe he's gonna explain that it's his son. Maybe he thinks he's the Messiah.
He does think he's a messiah. He made that clear in this episode that he doesn't think Kevin Jr. Kevin Jr. is just a character in Kevin Sr.'s book.
Yes, but why did he think that? Like, he obviously knew that Matt and Jean were writing a sequel or whatever, a new Bible.
but he thought it was about him, and that's what he got pissed off about.
How did he? Okay, if they told him, if he was told over the phone while he was in Australia that they were writing this book, they must have given him more detail because he was really excited about the book.
I think. I mean, obviously.
Or maybe
not,
they just
right?
said, "Oh, we're writing the book of Kevin," and he
Right.
thought it was about him.
Right.
And there's nothing about him. It's all about his son.
Correct.
And then I was trying to like pay attention to when he's listening to the tape to see if there's any kind of like, like hints of their past together, other than their mom dying and whatever.
Right.
Nothing.
Like
I can't figure anything else out. Can't figure it out. The snake maybe. Why is he-
We're just like
We're just
digging
trying to
for stuff, like,
nitpick
just
for stuff, like,
reaching for anything.
How obvious was it that he was gonna get bit by the snake?
Super obvious.
Super obvious.
Hey, there we go. We said super. We're back.
I think that's the 3rd time tonight. I'm counting.
What was it? I'm not even gonna go there. I was gonna say what were the first 2, but
No,
Let-
actually, it might be the first time. I don't know.
we can wrap it. I think at
I'm
this
down.
point we're
I'm down
reaching.
to wrap it up. This is we bitched enough about this.
Right, and Remy and I
I
talk
know.
about
I
this
hate
all
it.
the time.
We want to be positive,
Right.
thinking about it, but this episode just fucking sucked, man.
Like for people that don't know, Remy and I have this discussion almost on a weekly basis about how hard we try to be positive and how much we like the fact that we're a positive channel, having this little corner of the internet where we create this positivity. Everybody just come along, have a good conversation about what you like.
Yes,
and today we're just like shitting on this show nonstop. Like,
No, we're good. At least we're smiling. It's like we're smiling. It's like this really freaking sucked.
right. For anybody that stuck around for 25 minutes, super appreciate it. Next
Super,
week
thank you.
will be,
When you must super anything, super appreciates he really means it.
I mean it. Like,
We're counting how many times he says super in every episode now.
so we're number 2 or 5. We're not sure.
Or 23.
All right, everybody. Thank you
All right.
so much.
Thanks for watching.
We not super appreciate you guys hanging out. It means a lot. If you can, please like, subscribe, and definitely comment. We'll be back next Sunday, right?
And let's cross our fingers, everyone, for next episode to actually be good.
Right? Because, we can't do another week of this.
I know. My whole week, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to watch this leftover episode. And then it was let down today.
Like,
And we live in Arizona, so it's like, we've seen this before.
Right?
It was not that cool. Like Breaking Bad, it's all desert.
We've done Big Little Lies and The Young Pope. Neither one of us are shows that we are actually... That personally, neither one of us are really excited about, but we watched it and they were good. They were genuinely good,
Well,
surprisingly
we had no
awesome.
expectation. Like we really had some good expectations for this episode because we know it's the last season. We know they're gonna wrap things up in it. We know it's like a big, deep philosophical show, but let down, people.
Let down. Don't let it happen again, people from
No.
Leftovers.
Yeah.
But thanks.
Both of the leftovers.
I'm Nima,
I'm Remy,
and we'll be back next Sunday, peeps.
and that's arthritis.
Arthritis.
Good job.
That's the name?
That's the name.
I love it. All right,
Mariah
bye,
came up
everybody.
with it. It's so good.
All right, I gotta... Came up with nothing. Arthritis has